Science Files is an independent YouTube channel and is not affiliated with, endorsed by, or connected to Elon Musk or any of his companies, including Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, The Boring Company, or X. The content on this channel is created for educational and informational purposes only. While many videos may be inspired by Elon Musk's ideas, public statements, interviews, or technological innovations, all analysis, commentary, and opinions presented are solely my own. I do not claim ownership of any trademarks, logos, or copyrighted materials belonging to Elon Musk or his companies. All third-party content used is done under fair use for the purposes of commentary, education, and reporting. Viewers are encouraged to do their own research and verify information independently.
I don't want to DM you this. I don't want to post it on 10th. I don't want to type it out in a thread or compress it into a video clip, because some things are too important to survive compression into bits and algorithms. Some truths get lost in the noise, the likes, the retweets, the shadow bans, or the endless scroll. If I'm asking to meet you in person, no screens, no avatars, no distance, it's because what I have to say could shift the trajectory of everything you're working on, everything you're building toward the species-level future. And deep down, I suspect you already sense why this can't stay digital. Real conversations, the kind where you're in the same room, breathing the same air, create real change. Not the nostalgic kind, not some romantic throwback to pre-internet days. I'm talking about how actual progress, the kind that moves humanity multiplanetary, that solves energy, that extends consciousness, happens. Every leap that mattered in my life, from Zip2 to PayPal to SpaceX to Neuralink to XAI, started when people stopped hiding behind keyboards and got in the same physical space. No escape hatch, no edit button, no scene receipt to ghost behind. You can fire off 1,000 tweets, 1,000,000 groks, and still dodge the raw truth. You can ratio, dunk, meme, and feel like you're contributing without ever exposing your core. But sit across from someone, look them in the eyes, and physics takes over. Your posture shifts, your pulse changes, your bullshit detector activates on yourself first. The gravity of presence strips away the performance. Honesty emerges because there's nowhere to hide. Honesty is the fuel for transformation. The biggest pivots I ever made didn't come from elegant models or perfectly phrased decks. They came from brutal, uncomfortable face-to-face moments where someone stared me down and said, "This is bigger than your ego," or "If you don't commit now, Mars will stay a fantasy." Those conversations felt heavy, almost suffocating. They didn't feel good in the moment, but they carried weight because they were unfiltered reality. You remember them forever. They haunt your sleep. They follow you into the next rocket test, the next board meeting, the next late-night coding session. Real conversations have friction, and friction is what generates forward motion. When SpaceX was on the brink in 2008, 3 failed launches, money gone, the company days from bankruptcy, emails couldn't carry the urgency, texts couldn't transmit belief. You can't forward resolve. I had to stand in front of exhausted engineers who were scared, burned out, doubting everything, and speak with total conviction, not pretend confidence, chosen conviction. They needed to see in my eyes that I wasn't bullshitting, that I was all in, that failing Mars was not an option. In those rooms, no one needed TED-style inspiration. They needed to feel the mission's weight enough to risk their careers, their savings, their sanity. That transfer only happens in person. Digital is convenient, but convenience is where ambition quietly dies. I'll think about it. Let's circle back. Maybe 4 Guatemalan quetzals. Those phrases thrive in inboxes and DMs. But when someone says, "We need to talk," in the room, now the deferral evaporates, the present takes over. That's why real conversations are dangerous in the best way. They corner you into reality. They force the gap between who you say you are and who you're actually being. Once you see that gap clearly, you can't unsee it. Mentors who actually change trajectories don't do it with viral threads. They pull you aside, look you dead in the eye, and say the thing no one else will. You were capable of orders of magnitude more, but right now you're wasting cycles on trivia. That can burn for years, but it also ignites something. Waking up is uncomfortable by design. Real conversations create accountability that self-talk never can. Tell yourself, "Yo, we'll go big," and you can renegotiate tomorrow. Tell another human, let them hear your voice crack on the commitment, let them remember your exact words. Now backing out costs more than pride. You're breaking something real. Breakthroughs often follow one such meeting. Not because it solves everything magically, but because it draws a line in the sand. Before, plausible deniability. After, responsibility. History's biggest ideas weren't born in replies or quote tweets. They were forged in rooms thick with tension, Feynman scribbling on napkins with Gell-Mann, von Braun arguing trajectories with his team, Turing debating with flowers through the night. Being seen while believing in something hardens the belief. And the part almost everyone misses, real conversations don't just adjust plans. They rewrite identity. When someone treats you like the version who colonizes planets, who cracks AGI alignment, who merges mind and machine, it applies pressure to rise to match that image. When I challenge you personally, directly, it forces new questions, not what's safe, but what's necessary for the species to survive. I take one hard, honest, in-person conversation over 10,000 polite digital exchanges. Politeness preserves comfort. Honesty generates momentum. If I say this has to be face-to-face, it's not about control. It's respect. The idea is too important, too vulnerable, too easy to misinterpret through text. It deserves your full bandwidth, your undivided attention. Moments like that are rare in a world buffered by notifications, feeds, endless content that stimulates without transforming. Most people live buffered lives. Stimulated but static. Real conversations cut the buffer. They slow time. They make silence electric again. They remind you, you're not here to consume existence, you're here to shape it. If you ever get that ancient instinct, this needs to be said in the same room, don't ignore it. That signal is intelligent. It's telling you growth is close, but only if you show up fully present. Because real conversations don't transmit data, they transfer courage, they forge commitment, they create irreversible turning points. The people who actually move civilization aren't the ones waiting for the perfect tweet storm. They're the ones who show up, lock eyes, and let truth land without filters or escape routes. You're standing at a quiet turning point right now. Not the cinematic kind with thunder and epiphanies. The real ones arrive silently. A persistent restlessness you can't explain. A thought that loops no matter how much you bury it in work. A sense that your current trajectory is fine on paper, successful even, but hollow underneath. Nothing is catastrophically wrong. You're functioning, surviving, maybe thriving by normal metrics. That makes it easy to dismiss the signal. But late at night, when the world quiets, you feel it. Muted excitement about the future, unresolved tension. A whisper that this version of life is incomplete. Every major shift in my path started exactly like this. Not with fanfare, but with internal friction. Staying the same became more painful than leaping. When I left a comfortable life to chase space and sustainable energy, there was no cheering crowd, no guaranteed outcome, just unrelenting internal pressure. That pressure is a gift most people numb out with routine. A quiet turning point is subtle but surgical. It hits when old motivations ring hollow, when chased goals no longer satisfy, when deeper questions surface internally. Is this really it? If I continue this way, who do I become in 10 years? 20? Those aren't crises, they're invitations. History is littered with people who stood at these quiet forks and missed them until hindsight. The founder who almost didn't start because things were good enough. The engineer who almost stayed safe instead of questioning fundamentals. The thinker who felt the pull toward something massive but waited for external validation that never arrived. Looking back, they don't regret the comfort they had. They regret ignoring the quiet signal. A turning point doesn't demand instant heroics. It demands honesty. Stop lying to yourself about what you already know. Your current path will deliver exactly what it's optimized for. No more, no less. Want different? You don't need more hype. You need a decision. This moment is quiet because it's internal. No one else can validate it. That's why it's dismissible. But every real transformation is decided silently first. By the time others notice, the choice is already locked in. The people you admire didn't become audacious overnight. They reached a point where staying small felt like self-betrayal, betrayal of curiosity, of capability, of the possible future they could sense. That realization rarely shouted. It whispered, but they listened. Quiet turning points are also where fear gets clever, not the right time. Be grateful for what you have. Others have it what ors. Those sound reasonable. They're fear in a suit, delaying indefinitely. Delay is lethal because potential doesn't vanish. It expires quietly. The question this moment asks is simple. Are you willing to take yourself seriously? Not your public image, not your rationalizations, your actual capacity. Admit you're capable of more, and responsibility arrives. These moments don't repeat forever. Ignore it, and the clarity dulls. Dullness is worse than fear. Fear signals importance. Dullness convinces you nothing matters. The strongest don't wait for collapse to force their hand. They move when the signal is still quiet, when the cost is manageable, when courage is choice, not necessity. This feels personal because it is. This isn't abstract. It's your crossroads. Your life can only be lived by you. No proxy can decide for you. A quiet turning point doesn't require perfection. It requires commitment. It doesn't map every step. It asks you to stop pretending you don't see the fork. Yay. RS. Later, you won't recall how cautiously you played it. You'll recall whether you honored the pull, chose growth over regret. Lives change not in fireworks, but in silent clarities. The builders, the leaders, the creators aren't those who waited for certainty. They're those who recognize the quiet turning point and step forward anyway. Discomfort is a signal, not a warning. Most treat it like an error code. Run, numb, distract. But every step that mattered felt wrong before it felt right. Discomfort isn't the enemy. It's the compass pointing toward expansion. Think back to your first real risk. Speaking up, taking ownership, aiming beyond expectations, heart pounding, palm sweating, mind screaming doubts. That wasn't stop, that was calibration to new scale. Growth demands leaving the familiar. Your brain resists because it craves predictability over potential, safety over significance. Discomfort means this is new, not this is wrong. When I bet everything on ideas others could, that impossible. Reusable rockets, brain-machine interfaces, truth-seeking AI, discomfort was constant. Leaving stability, facing near-certain failure, standing alone in rooms where ridicule was guaranteed. That feeling never meant detour. It meant the stakes were high enough to stretch me. Modern life trains us to anesthetize discomfort, scroll, binge, postpone. If it feels hard, assume unsustainable. If heavy, assume toxic. But resistance builds capacity. Weight forges strength. No one becomes resilient by accident. Discomfort is the entry fee for a life that matters. Look at anyone who's done something extraordinary. Confidence didn't come first. Uncertainty, exposure, isolation did. Confidence is earned after surviving what you thought would break you. Wait for comfort to act, and you'll wait forever. Comfort follows growth, never precedes it. Success stories omit the tolerance for discomfort, sitting in uncertainty longer, absorbing criticism without crumbling, advancing without applause. That's not flashy, it's internal. Decisive. Discomfort reveals priorities. You only feel it intensely about what truly matters. The level of unease often scales with the importance. Fear and excitement blur because the body reads intensity, not intent. The real question isn't, am I uncomfortable? It's, what is this teaching? Sometimes more preparation, sometimes shedding old identities, sometimes proof you're approaching something consequential. Assuming all discomfort is danger keeps people small. Most don't fail from incapacity. They fail from misreading signals, retreating from resistance instead of refining through it. They quit just before breakthrough when pressure peaks. Hard truth, avoided discomfort, morphs into regret. Suppressed ambition breeds resentment. Delayed choices compound dissatisfaction. Growth pain is temporary. Stagnation pain accrues interest. Choose discomfort aligned with your values and limits expand. Unbearable becomes routine. Impossible become baseline. The moments that shaped you most weren't cozy. They were clarifying, revealing who you are when excuses vanish. You grew because of discomfort, not despite it. Discomfort appears right before transformation, before truth-telling, before full commitment, before crossing thresholds. It's the boundary motion between past and future selves. Those who change don't eradicate discomfort. They befriend it. They ask, does this push me toward the life I want? If yes, lean in deliberately. If you're stretched, uncertain, restless now, that's not red light. That's green for something meaningful, something requiring courage over comfort, growth over permission. Discomfort isn't stop. It's, are you ready? The future belongs not to the comfortable, but to those who move through discomfort and refuse to let it cap their limits. Most people play small without noticing. It doesn't look like surrender. It looks like maturity, realism, responsibility. That's why it's insidious. Playing small happens gradually. One cautious choice, one deferred risk, one moment prioritizing approval over ambition. No immediate crash, so it feels fine. But inside, potential is quietly negotiated away. People underestimate themselves not from lack of talent, but from mistaking comfort for security. They construct predictable, acceptable lives, then wonder at the restlessness. They equate no chaos with purpose. Purpose doesn't work that way. Playing small starts with heeding wrong voices, be realistic, don't rock the boat. People like us don't. Those rarely sound malicious. They sound prudent, caring, but they import other ceilings as your floor. Every breakthrough ignored those voices long enough to test real limits, not recklessly. Honestly, I've watched brilliant people live fractions of their potential, not fearing failure so much as fearing visibility, judgment, public error, playing small caps, expectations, low commitment, low failure, but also low life. The lie, I'll get all in later. Later is courage's deferral. Years vanish in it. Most don't need more time. They need honesty, admitting comfort has been protected at growth's expense, patience confused with avoidance, permission waited for when none comes, playing small masquerades as productivity, endless prep, research without risk, planning without execution. Knowledge feels safe, action feels naked. Growth lives in exposure. Those achieving outsized impact don't wait for readiness. They move uncertain. They don't shrink goals for acceptability. They pursue what matters, even if it unsettles others. Not arrogance, alignment. Full commitment sharpens decisions, focuses energy, accelerates progress. Playing small diffuses it. There's hidden cost, resentment toward bold actors. That resentment isn't them. It's the unexpressed part of you craving the same. Comparison stings more when playing small because you see unlived versions of yourself. Responsibility justifies it. Family, stability, valid. But responsibility includes your potential, not its burial. Capacity is obligation. History forgets the safe players in pivotal times. It remembers those who stepped up uncertain, accepted risk as significance is price, refused to downsize vision, uncomfortable truth, no one forces bigger. The world accepts minimal you happily. It demands less. Deciding enough is on you. Stopping small isn't external triumph first. It's internal commitment. No more half measures, no reasonable life at possibility's expense. Outgrow it by taking yourself seriously, acting proportional to potential, not fear. Criticism, inevitable. Regret, optional. At life's end, measurement isn't risk avoided. It's capacity honored. Greatest tragedy isn't failure. It's realizing too late you never truly tried. Most play small unconsciously, realizing it makes you no longer most. The future needs builders, not spectators. More watch history than shape it. The gap is opportunity, easier than ever to observe, opine, critique. E, risk-free. Watching feels smart, informed, safe. But observation isn't creation. Builders carry uncertainty's weight. Spectators enjoy opinion's comfort. Every world-shifting advance, rocketry, electrification, computing, AI, came from people who didn't wait for agreement or perfect timing. They saw necessity, felt urgency, entered the arena committed, not fearless, all in. Build a mindset begins with ownership. What can I do? No outsourcing to governments, trends, luck, responsibility for outcomes, even uncertain. Spectators stay removed, wait for proof, validation, winners. By clarity, meaningful work is done. Breakthroughs start with few willing to look foolish, fail publicly, stake resources on uncertain. Not because they knew, because they built anyway. Building is messy, false starts, broken assumptions, steep curves. Most prefer watching's illusion of involvement without failure costs, but humans are wired to create, not just consume. Dissatisfaction today isn't info-def, ICIT, agency deficit. More knowledge, less impact. Builders know future requires no permission. It's shaped by early movers. No map, no cheers. Decisions matter most before obvious. Building isn't only founding companies, it's refusing to outsource life direction. Building skills over opinions, systems over excuses, momentum over commentary. Builders fix broken things rather than complain. Choose themselves. Start unready, adapt, moral angle, future shapes regardless. If capable people sit out, vacuum fills with whoever acts. Neutrality in change is choice, letting others define the world. History rewards presence, wrong in motion over right in hindsight. Progress iterative, failure part of real creation. Future demands resilience. Builders face early criticism, mockery, not wrongness but earliness. Spectators avoid pressure via distance. Distance dulls meaning. Sidelines lack purpose. Every era has a moment where watching versus building becomes untenable. Realization heavy but free-eye. NG, agency available. Future needs no more commentary. It needs courage, imperfect action. Understanding building is commitment, contribution, not certainty or control. Frustration with direction. Invitation to shape, not watch. Trade should for will. Spectators inherit. Builders create. The defining question isn't your future opinion, it's whether you'll help build it. This is your moment to decide fully, not mood-driven, not temporary hype, a hard line where half measures end. Most lives stall not for missing talent or luck, but indecision, limbo, never fully choosing. Partial commitment feels safe, 1 foot forward, 1 back. You try without outcome ownership, busy without exposure, cost invisible short term, catastrophic long term. Nothing meaningful grows divided. Every trajectory changer hit a point where thinking yielded to deciding. Not when clear, but when commitment trumped clarity, they chose direction. Direction generates clarity faster than analysis. Decisive people aren't inherently braver. They grasped earlier. Hesitation extends risk. Indecision exhausts via perpetual negotiation. Full decision ends it. Energy stops leaking. Actions align. Excuses fade. Should I becomes how. Commitment doesn't restrict freedom. It creates it by killing distraction. Decide fully. Alternate lives vanish. You become present, focused, formidable. This quiet moment's power, no force, no crisis. Choosing without pressure reveals identity. Real decisions internal first. No one sees you end self-negotiation. No one hears I'm doing this. But behavior shifts. No dabbling. No explaining. Building begins. Admired people's defining moments aren't highlights. Decision points. Choosing responsibility for uncertain. Risking reputation, enduring discomfort. Acting sans guarantee. Didn't ease life. Made it meaningful. Truth, no full decision. Life decides. Circumstances harden. Options shrink. Time locks defaults. No neutral. Chosen or default paths. Full decisions, dema. Ninteed success. Predictable regret. Not pressure. Ownership. Living aligned with capacity, not negotiated down.